Gear up, because this is the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, designed to accelerate sales and grow your business. Let's welcome your host, Arti Sharma.
Welcome back, and thank you once again for joining me today at the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, episode number 4 in the series, which is covering search engine optimization trends for 2023. I'm your host, Arti, and I'm so thrilled to discuss this topic. This is something that we haven't, spoken about on our blog as much, but I'm really glad that we're covering it on the podcast. So tune in. Well, before we dive into this topic, where I'm talking about how do you optimize for local voice search on all of these different maps, which are through Apple, through Google, and through Android and whatnot, and all these assists that are coming into play, I want to bring your attention that more than 2 billion people are using voice search to find businesses, products, services, and general information. And you really want to tune into this because you don't want to miss out on how could you take advantage of all those search market share that's around you, happening in front of you, and around your products and services. So as we all know that the businesses are, becoming more and more, I think, aggressive in their showing up on page one and being in front of their consumers, and users want everything instantaneously, easy and accurate. I would say about 58% to 60% of consumers are researching a local business using a voice search. And that just happened last year. So from restaurants to home service companies, and that is one big reason why voice search has been so successful in recent years, because we all have the power of smartphones and then now the smart technology in our homes and in our cars and everywhere else. So while voice search assistants are getting more and more popular, I do want to give accolades to Siri, because I'm an iPhone, Apple user through and through. I know that Siri is one that started it all, right? As the first virtual assistant to have really, I'd say, popularized the smart features, and Apple's Siri is a dominant force in the industry alongside other assistants such as Alexa and Google Chrome. Now, we definitely don't want to miss out on Microsoft's Cortana. There's obviously a whole lot that are taking the leap, but local search is rapidly growing. Voice search is rapidly growing, and it's growing not just in popularity, but also in usage. And every local business needs to optimize themselves so customers can find them when they're using any of their smart devices. And some of the basic steps to optimize a local business for voice search we discussed in the last episode. But today I really want to take a whole stand on how do you do the localization aspect of it. So yeah, it just starts with, understanding the voice search ecosystem and who has the market share. But ultimately, I think there's pretty much an relatively equal voice search market share between Google, Apple, Siri, and Cortana have them all. But again, there's also that voice search ecosystem, and then there's also the types of voice searches that are happening. And primarily, there are 3 types of voice searches that are happening. The 3 are discovery, direct, and knowledge-based, right? So when people are kind of giving commands to their smart devices, they're either trying to find something, right? Find an HVAC company near me, or find an HVAC company in Milton, where I live. Or they could say, what are the best restaurants in Niagara Falls? And then the direct searches could be call so-and-so from your phone. Or let's say, for example, I often call a company that I'm trying to visit, or somebody I want to reach. I have them stored in the name of companies. So call LCW Lawyers for me, right? And again, make a reservation at so-and-so restaurant, and it opens an open table, maybe your app or whatnot. And then there are some knowledge-based queries, right? And these knowledge-based queries could be either a news item, like, what's the latest news on Prince Harry's memoir, right? That could be a knowledge-based. And so timely right now, by the way. So in a discovery search, people are looking for types of local businesses. And again, direct searches are when people ask for information about a specific local business, and knowledge searches may have local businesses intent, but local businesses can create information that will answer that particular question, maybe, or that news site could have done that in this case. So while discovery searches are important for finding new customers, direct searches can often be more important because these customers want to interact or do business with you right now. Okay. And then speed to act would be important there. So how do you optimize for Apple? How do you optimize for Google Assistant? And how do you optimize for Amazon Alexa? I mean, as much as I know it's really hard to show all of that on a podcast, but I really hope you could follow along along, and we could get to a place where you understand the importance of it. So about 36% of market share is for Siri on the voice search. And I think you can follow some of the strategies that I'm telling you now to claim your Apple Maps listing. And, if your business who serves customers face to face, you need to really claim and optimize your Apple Map listings for your business. And it's an Apple Maps instead of just Google Maps, right? And it shows up on iPhones and Apple's in default mapping app, right? Not Google's app, but in default Apple Map, it'll show up. This is important because 3 out of 4 users of the iOS device actually use Apple Maps, not Google Maps. And these are very important customers for any local business. And if they're important for you, you really want to get onto that. So when you're doing a voice search for a local business on an iPhone, the top result is typically from an Apple, Maps section. When you use Siri to find a local business, then also the results come from an Apple Maps. And of course, that is the reason why you really do need to use that. So claiming your listing is you need to go to mapsconnect.apple.com. And this is a very similar process as claiming your Google My Business, but specifically for Apple. And if you don't claim your listing, it's likely that Apple may already have that one for your business.
This podcast is being brought to you by Measure Marketing, an inbound marketing agency and a HubSpot partner. To book a free consultation, visit measuremarketing.com.
And they usually get their data from other sources and sometimes Google as well to claim, and then you can go ahead and claim your listing to ensure that information is correct, and you can also update it. You do need an Apple ID to do that. Okay, so if you don't have one already, you'll need to create one, and you can then follow the steps on screen to claim or add your business, which typically includes a phone verification to ensure that you kind of legitimately represent the business, right? And once you've claimed your business and signed in, you will see all the listings you have associated with your Apple ID account, which means that Apple Maps interface isn't as developed as Google's, but you can have multiple admins for each of your business listings, and you can have multiple locations associated with a single Apple ID. So if you're a franchise location trying to do that, or for your non-franchise but multiple location business, you could do that. And then you can go ahead and update your Apple listing information again, right? You can set your business hours and other information, but there's no way to set kind of a holiday business hours like you can do on Google, Yelp, or Bing. Apple doesn't allow you that. And you can also not manage any photos, and there are no kind of customer reviews there. Apple gets those from other sources like, Yelp and others. So kind of, synthesizes and consolidates that from third-party sources. So that's what for Apple and Siri that you could do. And again, Apple is in the process of completely rebuilding its Maps products from the ground up. It will definitely use the first-party data collected from iPhones, but it's likely that Apple will also significantly upgrade the Maps Connect and help in the future. So definitely to start now and manage your listing there. But in the meantime, again, as I said, it's very important for every local business to claim and optimize your listing and have an existence on Apple Maps Connect too. Okay, so let's move on, and then let's talk about what is up for Google, right? Google, Alexa, and others. So it is important. Just one last step on that front is also that because Apple's going to source information from Yelp, so it's important that you optimize your Yelp business listing as well. Okay, so let's talk about Google Assistant. Google Assistant also has about 36% to 40% market share for voice. And the voice search ecosystem, as I spoke about, is because it is a Google product. It gets all of its local business data from Google My Business, right? Including reviews and photos. So for Google Assistant, it's no different than optimizing for Google Search or Google Maps. There is too much involved in optimizing a Google My Business listing to go into here. But you can, go ahead and look at some of the other blog posts that we have on our website about Google My Business to understand how to do that. Bottom line, if you optimize your business to show up well on a Google Search and Google Maps, you are already well optimized to show up in a voice search on Google Assistant. Okay, so you don't have to do anything extra. Just make sure that your Google My Business is definitely there. Now, let's talk about our friend Amazon Alexa. Now, Alexa dominates the smart speaker market with about 70% market share, but it only has about 25% overall market share for voice search when you consider all the other devices like iPhones, computers, gaming consoles, etc. So Alexa gets local business data, photos, and reviews from two primary sources, Yelp, and Yelp provides most of that information. So Yelp's becoming really a player in there by striking those partnerships. And also, Yext, which is another tool. Again, so I definitely want to kind of bring your attention to the fact that you can make sure that your name, address, and your phone number are correct throughout the search engine ecosystem. So when your agency is building backlinks and everything, it's all taken care of. And if companies are calling you and finding you in Alexa on their home speaker phones, then that is as a result of the link building that has happened, and your NAP consistency is definitely there, and your Yelp has really been optimized. So I think we should still be, optimizing the Yelp listing such that Alexa can benefit. At the same time, Apple is taking note of that Yelp listing as well. So Yelp's becoming a player here. Again, as I mentioned, claiming and optimizing your Yelp listing, if you don't have it, I definitely want to bring your attention there, is critical to the voice search optimization. It does syndicate images and reviews to Apple Maps, which powers Apple Siri, Bing Maps, which powers Microsoft Cortana. And it syndicates business data, images, and reviews to Amazon Alexa as well. So definitely after Apple Maps, your next focus should be Yelp listing, and you want to claim and optimize your Yelp listing as much as possible. Make sure that business information is complete and accurate. Upload a really good set of photos for your business there. And, Yelp has an advertising option that you may want to consider, but I don't think it's important. By default, Yelp chooses what the primary photo is for your listing. So make sure that your primary photo is really the photo that you wanted to show on their listing. So it's about, I think, $400, $500 per year, but it does allow you to specify the primary image, which not only appears on your Yelp, but it also appears on your Apple Maps, Bing Maps, and your voice assistant results. But again, you don't need that paid service just for that image, as long as you have chosen the right image when you're setting up your Yelp, clearly. So by doing this, you're now optimized for your local voice search, and you have claimed and optimized all your voice listings. And hopefully, when somebody is speaking to their devices, you're going to show up, and you're going to start getting all the traffic that you may perhaps have been missing out as a result of your voice search on all these channels. So thank you once again for listening and watching. And I do want you to know that we're here to support you as an agency. If you have any other questions, leave us on our LinkedIn page. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And until next time, stay blessed, keep crushing it. And thank you very much once again for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. For more episodes, visit www.fuelyourmarketing.ca.